Hi, I'm Kevin Beck from the Lenovo Customer Center, and I'm here today with Howard Locker, Lenovo Master Inventor, to talk about some of the enhancements that Lenovo has made to Windows 7 through our Windows 7 Enhanced Experience program. All right, Howard, can you start with some of the things that we did, some of the things that we investigated? Where did we really start the engineering work in developing the Enhanced Experience for Windows 7?
Sure. The first thing we did is we started about 3 years ago. We said, how can we improve speed and performance in Windows 7? And we worked with Microsoft, and we called the program Velocity, because Velocity is what we were trying to do. And it was really a lot of hard work, because when you think about it, there's probably 1,000 things that contributes to boot time, shutdown time, and resume time. And like anything, it's kind of like a chain. It's only as good as the weakest link. So we measured everything. And then we started looking at what was taking the longest time in the different operations and how can we fix that. And we just started knocking them off one by one. They were across drivers, BIOS, hardware, startup, settings. And as we worked it down, the next thing became the highest, and we worked that down. And we were able to get an unbelievable improvement in our boot time, our resume time, our suspend time, hibernate time, across the board.
Obviously a lot of background engineering work. Just one specific example of something that we did, something that we tuned, something that we fixed to make this work.
So a great example is we were taking about 6 seconds to suspend, and our target where we are today is less than a second. And we found one driver, popular wireless driver, and it was taking about 5 seconds to suspend. And we were trying to figure out why was it 5 seconds. And what we found was when you do driver certification, it's a very robust test because it needs to work under all conditions. And one of the examples is this driver needed 4 megs of continuous memory, but the test case was set up so you couldn't get 4 meg continuously. So what it did 4K at a time times like 1,000 times, and that took 5 seconds. So we made a change where we said, try for 4 meg first, and with 4 gigs and 2 gigs of memory, you can get 4 meg. And if you get that, great. If not, then do the 4K at a time. And we cut that driver from 5 seconds to 200 milliseconds, which now was no longer the critical path, and we moved on to the next thing. And by just keep on working these things down, we got to under a second on suspend time.
All right, that's a really good example, Howard. I know we also looked at our BIOS, we looked at boot order, we looked at legacy devices that we still supported in BIOS, made some changes, did some tuning there. Can you tell me more about that?
That's another great point. So when you come to the desktop, what do you want to do? You want to do things that make you productive. So we looked at everything that comes up and says, do we need to do this right now before we give you the desktop, or could we delay it to later where you don't notice? Now, a small example is the USB camera. So instead of enumerating and loading the driver up at time 0, we delayed it to after you got to the desktop, and we did it while you were idle. So we did that with all the hardware. We only brought up the minimum necessary to get to the desktop and make it operational. And we cut down the boot time to less than 30 seconds. And on some systems, we're actually hitting 10 seconds boot time from the time you hit the on button to you have a working desktop. So it's just reordering things to when you really need it versus doing everything in the middle.
Thank you, Howard. That obviously includes a lot of things that we personally had direct control over. Our drivers, our BIOS, but there are also a lot of things that we worked with that were actually native to Windows 7.
Right, we worked directly with Microsoft. They were very involved in this. We used a lot of their test equipment and test cases. We worked with our suppliers. So it was across the entire ecosystem. And another small example in Windows is on shutdown. Shutdown uses a lot of services to make a nice thing, but some of them took and added significant delay time to the shutdown. So we said, is this really needed? Why don't we just disable this so we don't do this time thing? And we were able to take seconds and seconds off the shutdown time. And now we shut down in less than 15 seconds, where we used to be 30, 40 seconds before that. So it was really across the entire ecosystem. And once again, it was just hard work, analyzing every little thing. And it was kind of like, we had like a death by 1,000 razor cuts. So there was not one thing that was super dramatic, but it was all these little things that as we kept on working it. And literally, it was a team of many people, 2 to 3 years of work. And we're not stopping now, because if we take our eye off the prize, we're going to creep up again. So we're keeping that team in place. We're still analyzing every new drop of everything to make sure we don't, we keep it at the level that it's at. So it's going to be an ongoing, continuous thing to keep these type of velocity improvements.
And obviously that bodes well for future development for us. We've learned a lot. We know how to do it better now.
Right. We have a team. We understand it. And what's good now too, now that we've spent the 3 years and we've knocked out the 1,000 problems, we can only deal with 10 things a month. So it's manageable. I mean, it's like steady state. And that's the thing. So just a lot of hard work, a lot of good analysis, a lot of cooperation from everybody in the ecosystem, including Microsoft. And we really work together, and the proof is in our numbers, which we have unbelievable boot times, resume times, suspend times, and hybrid times.
It's a great story, and I've personally seen it work, so I know it's for real. It's great stuff. Anything else?
No, I think that's really the gist of it. I think you need to experience it, get yourself a Lenovo ThinkPad with Win 7 and try it out and see what you think.
Howard, thanks again for the discussion. Great overview of our Enhanced Experience program. And we'll be back again soon with more discussions about the Lenovo Win 7 Enhanced Experience. For more information, go to www.lenovo.com/Win7EE. Thanks.